Okay, we're almost there, everybody. Just as a respect. You're going to be going, right? Because then I can take this thing off. Okay, cool. Let's take this thing off the wall. Ready? Take this off the church. Alrighty then. Not right. Hello, everyone. Oh, that's so funny. Let's take this off. Charles Richards is really here. Hope everyone is okay and safe. We're making a bridge show right now for our Zoom people out there. Welcome, everyone. My name is Charles Richards Zarelli, running for president of our beautiful United States. Um, I appreciate those who come, and I appreciate everyone watching, without a doubt. Um, I like to say I might not look like Brad Pitt, and I might not have his abs. I'm rubbing my belly over here. Sorry, Jen. But my heart and my mind are, and I am very, very confident. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Um, Going through life in the way we are right now with this pandemic and several different things. I'm one of the first people in 2016 who documented an emergency. I've never made a video before that in my life, and I had to break that mold. Um, and I think it's extremely important that as a professional troubleshooter for 40 years with an excellent record, and I've been in tens of thousands of people's homes doing public service. I don't have a big head when I say this. I like to fact check everything I say. And I say that because anyone who's a true technician evaluates real energy. And that's the beautiful thing about this, because I don't see anyone doing it, which puts me up on a different notch. And why do I have the church behind me? Because I'd like to talk about that thing right there. What is that? I didn't put it here for the church. Yes, I love God. I believe there's more than what God is, because what is God? Nobody really could define what God is. To me, what God is, because I'm not insulting to say anything except I love God. What can I say? I mean, I have to say that with my heart, my soul, my mind. To me, God is every prophet, JC, every planet. There's energy within planets. So the billions of planets, I'm a technician. I include all the energy. Because that's what energy is relative to, is judgment. And anyone who's a technician doesn't judge energy by lying or thinking you have to be a pro-politician. With respect, everyone. But I include energy inside of our expanse, outside of our expanse, our makers, our creators. Like the Declaration of Independence says, We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights, endowed by our Creator. Among these are life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Forgive me if I added the double entendre in there, but it's important. I believe the Declaration of Independence is the answer to every problem, or at least 65 to 85%, 87% of every problem you can think of. As a technician, I'm not looking to hurt America. I'm not looking. Let's start this over because we had a couple people late joining, and it seems like I know who they are. I know they're not going to mind. Hey everyone, how are you out there? Let's start this from the top again. So let's do it in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Hi everyone, Charles Richard Zerilli here, at your service. For those who are new, I appreciate you coming, and thank you. Charles Richard Zerilli is running for the President of the United States. I've had a couple of snafus, which I believe is why I'm not national, which I should be. But let's just go from the top down. Some of the things about me, I'm very in tune, I feel, to help, to do something, to not be pro-political. I have to say that. The Declaration of Independence actually says time to stop the political bands which have connected them when the course of human events, of course, the first couple of words. The Declaration of Independence, I'd like to start off that it is a guide. Most people don't know that. From birth to death, whether you're a person, business, or government, from birth to death. And AKA cycle. A little bit about myself. First off, I would like to say, I mean, I look like Brad Pitt. That's okay though. I respect who I am. I love who I am. I care who I am. And I might not have Brad Pitt abs. Sorry, Jen. But my heart and my mind are. And I am very, very confident. For about 2 years, I stood outside the system and I evaluated everything like I wasn't part of it. And that's what technicians do. We evaluate energy fairly and square. We take what you need to know and we align it. I've been in tens of thousands of people's homes, many, probably thousands and thousands of businesses in 40 years of a professional public service businesses. I was usually top rated, one of the most requested, least amount of callbacks, had the highest competitive ranking sales of whatever, and people requested me. Even though I would say, look, I'd like to point this out to you. This is what's going on. I just want to show you this. Really? Thank you very much. Within a couple of weeks, a large percentage of people would, call the company back up before I opened my own company and became multi-licensed and request me. And I appreciated that. It really made me feel good. So what do technicians do? Technicians evaluate energy. And one of the energies of the Declaration of Independence is that it is a guide from birth to death, like I said, from a person, a business, or a government. That's extremely important. And what is this thing is why I have this behind me, that it's not about the church at this point. Although I am a God-fearing person, I do love God. I've learned you need to learn how to sacrifice or suffer. The Declaration mentions that twice. And I also wrote a book about this. And, the Declaration to me is, I would say what it is really, truly the guide of the Constitution. And we hear Amy Barrett and all these people and other people swearing to the Constitution. And I respect that. Yes, I respect this. However, we need to acknowledge it is not correct, nor is it good to drive all of us beautiful people nuts, which is why I'm stepping up to not be political about it, to just talk about some energy in just a basic, respectful way of what our energy is and how we're hurting our earth. And a woman today on WBAI, it was a noon program, WBAI.org. I don't mind giving them a plug because I've actually learned some other things from other people and some other stations, but I'm not going to go any further than that. But when I got someone in my life who was a diabetic and I got them to stop and they grew out of being a diabetic, I now understand epigenetics. It makes me wonder why I've accomplished some things that some doctors haven't. That's all I'm going to say. But I wouldn't want to destroy the medical industry because you have to look at it. What do we do? Release all the natural things and then hurt what it is right away and then hurt the 4.3 to 4.3 trillion dollars that America nets in the medical costs, gross rather, that gross in the medical costs. We don't want to hurt what it is. America's number one. You like being number one? Yes. Number one. Absolutely. So energy is relative to a technician. None of these people who are political are technicians professionally. None of them. It's my advantage. So that's why I'm stepping into this. I am the first person, I believe, to document this. In 2016, I made a video, Charles Arzarelli for president. The funny thing is I'm having a problem because I got to be honest, and I want to put my hand on my heart when I say this because I'm not lying. I've had some weird things happen that's holding me back. It's holding my presidential campaign back. I don't know how to take these things. As a technician, it draws a picture. I don't want to go there, what I really honestly feel, but I would just like to say that my phones have been messed with. I've received, someone took a text out of one phone, put another, sent it to a volunteer, took a link from another phone and stole it. That was given to the FBI as a complaint. The FBI has not called me back. Fought 3 times. 4 times twice, two, 3 times I went there. Twice I had done this online right away. And when I had no results, I went back. So it's not really fair. We see our digital information not corrected or protected. As an energy person, as an evaluator, that most of these people are not. Do they have 14 licenses through their life? No. Are they business? Yes. Am I business? Yes. Am I political like them? No. I don't want to be. No disrespect. I'm a person of my word. If I tell you something, I'm going to come back and tell you why it didn't work. I'm in that habit. Part of our intelligence system. Why does a 1700-year-old church have this thing right here? That's in everyone's brain. Did you know that? It's in our bodies. There's certain things that of our intelligence that could be expanded. No one is doing this. And the reason why I say that, I would like to expand us to evolve within respect of who we are as a people. No one's talking about evolving. We're talking about 10, 15, 20, 27 items at most. That's not, it's not enough for me. As a technician, you're wasting my time. You're wasting the people's time. You're driving us nuts with political stuff. Do all of you just want a road show? You want to see these 2 people fight like they're animals and then one covers one side and one covers the other? Guess what? That's exactly perfect to allow what primally we will do. They've attracted the primalness, and proof of this, why they've stimulated the action, the inner IRs and RAS, reticular activating system. That's part of our mental framing. When I got a certificate in hypnotherapy, I started to learn also the mental framing, as well as I've done steel framing. This thing, ask me what I haven't done. It's easier. Seriously, and I'm just disgusted with our system. I'm not going to participate with trashing people in the way that they are. I refuse to. I'm going to put them in their place and watch what I do. Please, Charles Richard Zarelli, last name Z as in zebra, ERILLI. Please check out timetojoin.us. That's the website. And then for those who, let me do this a little bit. For those who are senior citizens and you know people maybe who don't use, don't use a computer. What do we do? We're boxing out our seniors. How about when you get older and we have the technology boxing you out? Every one of you. Think about it. A technician sees ahead. In 2016, I spoke of our weather. I said it's an emergency. I'm the first person on the face of the globe. I said it was a national, international emergency, making it a public debriefing, which means I wanted to include all of you. Now it's up to you to show some heart. Do you care? Because these people are going to be, what? One's going to put $2 trillion in, the other one's denying our climate and our environment. Did you know the Constitution doesn't protect, and predominantly does not protect women or children, and it does not protect our earth, and what it is, especially if you're a senior. But this is what our Constitution is relative to. It needs and requires requires to be updated. Just like you update your phone, you update your computer. Moore's law has made things advance so critically fast that if we have problems, they could very well possibly exceed the ability to correct them. As a professional technician and a professional repairer, a professional fix person, quote unquote, this is what I do. Making business is extremely important. I've always been a top earner and a top netter and a gross person for, in fact, I had one of my old bosses when two of his children passed away. Went to the wake and one said to me, "So Z-Man," they used to call me A to Z, two nicknames, A to Z and the doctor. And the things I've learned, I haven't tried. This is who I am. And he said to me, "When are you coming back?" He goes, "No one's ever done what you've done." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Thank you." I was like, that was a nice compliment. I didn't realize that they would give me the feedback like that. And it was very nice. So to me, my digital stuff is not being protected. I believe it's hurt my national campaign for being president of the United States, of this beautiful place. So I think having someone who's been hurt and damaged, someone right now, I have something up in arms up against Con Ed. I'm not happy with certain things. I'm not going to mention it. Put me on national television. You want to see head spin? You want to see these guys not know what to do because they're going to fight each other? I'm not going to participate in like that. I believe a greater intelligence is where we need to be. And it's not like we see these people fighting and fighting and fighting. And then look at the first debate between DJT and JB. I'm embarrassed for both of them. I'm embarrassed. And I'm not talking down about anybody, but let's fact check everyone. Because when the Biden administration, when the Obama administration and the gentleman was vice president, there were several things he made promises for. None of them really pretty much on the most important ones for racial equality. Not really any of them came through. And I'm not talking down about the guy. I'm talking about his policies and what he stood up and said his word for, and it didn't happen. I like the guy as a person. I don't dislike him. I don't dislike anybody in that way, but I'm going to evaluate you as the energy you represent. Technician, once again. I think it's important we have a technician who does business, merging science and the political field and business. And once again, the Declaration is a guide from person, business to government. It also shows what to do. So those who are locking into the Constitution, what does it really mean? Constitution is not protecting our people. It's not fair. It must be updated. No one else is forefronting this. And if that happens, it's going to handle hundreds of items. Did you know that we have about 50 animals to 200 every day that are going extinct? I didn't know how many tens of thousands of species there are. But I started to research this, and it's true, because we're very lucky in the United States. For those who want to face the climate issues, I'm not going to say the word climate, CHANGE. Forget that. I don't want to say that. It turns people off. I know it as a technician. I know when I personally had gas poisoning, how I had to face things, and I didn't want to, but I had no choice. Doctors couldn't help me. I had to figure it out, the answer myself, and I did. And I learned about biodegradation. We have hundreds of miles deep of bacteria in the ocean, 41.5 degrees. No one asks this question, by the way. I wrote this in my book. Why is it 41.5 degrees if we dig down 10 feet in the soil? Anywhere on the face of the globe. Anywhere. Not next to hot springs, not next to a volcano, and not next to the permafrost. So anywhere out of those areas, if you dig down 10 feet, it's 41.5 degrees. Why? If we answer that, we can fix the climate issues. And the answer is standard Earth climate maintenance, period. Let's have 5,100 years ahead of us safe, with no question. Let's have it be where the Declaration is guiding us in the right way, and we can see what it represents in the respect of what it is for our lives. I think this is huge. And I think it's right in front of us. The Declaration has already been adopted. Do we deny her? Do we deny that it says governments, quote, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed? That's us. So the battle that I'm in, and how I've had a school closed down, but the doors didn't close, and they closed it on paper, and they reopened when we had uncovered a bunch of teachers were getting abused by the children. The principal was doing nothing. They ripped off one of our friends, and they took a Muslim girl's religious attire. They ripped it off of her head, and that's it. I'm sorry, you're not going to do that. People deserve respect, and this is what's about. And a lot of people really aren't aligning all the energy and represent. So the main topics I'm going to touch on: voting protection. I know from digital stuff. I went to the police station. They shut the door on me. I showed them the picture of the text. Said this number was sent to a volunteer's phone. This number you're seeing that came from my name on it doesn't text. It doesn't have that ability. One service I have doesn't have that. And they took a link, which they stole from another piece of equipment and put it in. They told me I wasn't, and there was nothing done that was illegal. The 120 precinct in Staten Island, New York. I love all police. Don't get me wrong. There's a balance to this. And I think defunding the police department has to be done with kid gloves. You can't just take money away from them without understanding where it's going. And then taking money out of them and putting what? 5,000 police officers into schools to make up for it? That's not defunding the police. It's shifting the money from one security to the same thing pretty much. So with crime and all the rest of this, and I'd also discovered numbers are not accurate. A couple things happened years ago, and in the Bloomberg administration, who was the mayor on Staten Island, and I went to go make a police report. They wouldn't take my report, and I had obvious damage. I had pictures. They said, no, unless we can arrest them, we're not taking your report. I said, excuse me, I'd like to talk to your desk sergeant, please. And I had to mention some names of people I know, and then they took the report. So what tells me is numbers are not being told to us accurately. We need to come to terms with correcting our systems, not because we're going to have people fight in a political arena, making it a home show. It's not the thing, all I could say is if you're not doing it right, I'll say it. I'll say it from Charles Richard Zerilli. You're not doing it right. Very nice to know you. I'm not going to do it on Facebook or public social media, but I'm sorry, you're fired. And what do? Have an anger to excite you? You want to be excited by people who are going to not look to create a better intelligence for us and not either fix things either and lie, and this is what you buy? Come on, man. Look at the people's credentials. It seems like the word political is against the Declaration of Independence. It's against it. To be political is not American. The Declaration of Independence, one of the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another and to assume among the powers of the earth. Part of my field is a licensed ham operator. I gave the license up because cell phones came out, but KB2QDE. What are we going to have? That people are going to take certain snippets out of my videos and then use them and then make things to try to trash me when I start getting national coverage? That's okay, because news needs to be vetted, because it's a law by the FCC that if the president says something, you can't go against and check it. I don't like that. Let's have intelligence combat intelligence in an intelligent way. Let's excite you all. Did you know also, psychologically, this is a fact, did you know that when people are in survival mode, like all these things happening, did you know you really can't be happy? There's part of our brains that when it gets defensive, cannot excel. And that's a fact. So I'm concerned with the way you walk into the diner, the way you walk into a store, the way you walk into whatever stores we have, and people sometimes catch an attitude. They're in a rush. They're just struggling to make money and make business. People lie, cheat, and steal. How many businesses I know have to operate in the business they say on the sign, and then their filing says something different? We're hiding everything. Why is it that people have to, no matter what, live as an American and automatically you broke the law already? You're born, you broke the law somehow. This is what you call intelligence? To me, it's not. So voting needs to be protected. Let's say it. Time to join .us. I need everyone. Please reach out to me. I can't tell you how many people told me they couldn't pull up my site. It's been almost a year and a half now. And that to me is very disturbing, that somehow that a site from a very major holder for domain names is hosting it. And people couldn't find my site. So it tells me What else has happened to other people? Our information is not protected. I proved it. And I don't mind saying going to the 1-2 precinct because I have family members who work through there, so I'm not disgracing anybody. I'm saying the way the policies are, they have no choice but to follow. Once again, with following a constitution that's outdated and that trickles down, why is it that, all of our police chiefs are sent to Israel to learn counterterrorism? I'm seeing this happen amongst the people because what? There's not enough terrorism that they now have to use those tactics, and they're learning those tactics at us people. Look at what's happening for racial inequality. The Declaration of Independence needs to reframe the Constitution, would automatically not accept any racial inequality. And those who don't like it, then you're not really thinking of what it is to be an American, and maybe you're not honoring the Declaration, which is a higher degree than the Constitution. It formed America. It connected our 13 colonial states. So, and I have to do this because this is relative. I do design. This is a blueprint. This is my work. I have several of these, literally. So how come we don't see this for our government? Police, following their job. This is how we train them. War zone in Wisconsin. Guy's bleeding. 17-year-old goes, and then we advocate this guy. And I don't, no violence, please. No violence. Get out there, get on the streets. I am your join spot. Time to join. .us. We're not a .com. Yes, online might be, but we are .us because it connects us. That's why I picked .us. So national makeover is extremely important. Who do we have that's really talking about this thing? That's an intelligence part of our brain. And guess what happens? There are certain chemicals today that calcify that. That's a fact. We're not becoming more intelligent as a species. And look at how much more defensive we're becoming as a people. Our voting needs to be protected. Our mail system, delivery system for the voting needs to be protected. Imagine a mail truck has a right over a police car or over a fire engine. But yet your vote is not protected. But the act of war is. You want drama? You need those other two people then. You want this to not be, mark my words right now, October 7th, 2020, and mark my words, either one of these guys go in, you're not going to really see many things get corrected. And we're going to have the same thing we have in the last 40 years. The rich people upfolded 600%. This is a fact. The American people downfolded. We've not increased at all. And think about it. How many more people are homeless? Record homeless. But yet, record profit corporation highs. From two financial analysts who've been monitoring the system for the last 40, 50 years, as they're both teachers in college and professors. So these are not people who were just trying to throw kibosh. Fact check me, please. I love us. I love America. I love our flags. We're having more suicides than ever in history. We got to face things first before, before we fight, because we could fight. And all of a sudden, this one looks at the sword this one has, and it says the name of the people who gave it to him. And this one looks at his sword and has the same name. Meanwhile, they're different people. And they say, wait a minute, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? And before you realize it, someone's giving both sides the arms, and then we fight each other. And then for what? The people who made those arms win. There are certain things that I represent, there are certain things I stand for, but I see the respect in people, and I can't see it any other way. We need to advocate our intelligence. We need to see proof of this. I do not. And that's why I'm running for president of the United States. I'm one of you. And how many of us are there? The commonalities. We're just, a lot of us are just, we're people. I really don't care to be famous or not, but I know stepping into this, I have no choice. But I love us as a people, and I see professionally how to take care of this. And I got a surprise for you, what I'd like to put in the White House. I want to see more people build up here. and you're going to appreciate it. Go check out my video on time to join.us. You'll get a little snippet when it opens up. It says 8 minutes and 27 seconds on the front. Just go watch that video. And by the way, I eat dirt at one point in the video. I'm not going to tell you how, but I'll tell you this. It's because I love us. And I did say, how do I prove I loved you? How do I prove I love everybody? How do I prove I love our soil? Everything happens on our soil. Everything. Irrigation. Did you know all the animals could be dead? We would still live. Insects die. We're gone. Done. They make oxygen. They pollinate. The biomimicry of the earth is amazing. She's so beautiful. That's one of my statements, by the way. We are beautiful. So please check me out. Time to join.us. Let's go. So voting must be protected. New laws. Presidential laws through federal agencies, and agencies have to monitor if a president goes overboard. We can't allow 20,000 plus lies. This recent administration being fact checked has broken that. More than that. More than 20,000 things he said were not accurate. So when you look at his executive orders and his mouth says one thing, but his actions went the other way. And I don't dislike the guy. I'm not going to go there. Any people, any one of these guys, they want to have out in a ring? Let's go. You have a personal anguish? Let's put it together. Let's put a boxing ring in the White House. Let's go. Because you want to say that I'm going to stick up my company? My company is America. And that's our company. My company is your company. The Declaration of Independence notions this. We don't see any feel of this whatsoever. Did you know that we should be looked out into our death? Meanwhile, we're leaving senior citizens the trails. We don't really look at them as far as all the digital stuff that's going on the online stuff. That's why I put a phone number nice and big over here. Over here. So we have to look out for our seniors. And what does the Declaration say? Quote, and for the support of this declaration, it brings the rest of the document back into the last statement. I wrote a book on this and I broke down many lines of the declaration. In fact, every couple of words. Aside from the 27 forms of suffering, which this administration is breaking at least 60% of them, that's not American. You want to do things, you have to follow what it is, what it was to be an American, not that you say you are. What does that mean? We say we're American, and what are we doing? We're hurting the essence of what the resolution resolved. King James III, he was suffering people and torturing people and going out and causing so much war. We add the whole world combined. We have 2.5 times the world added together, times the whole world of all armed forces. We nearly have 2.5 times of the armed forces. Did you know, I think if the number was correct, 14 or 16 billion dollars, I'm sorry, trillion, not billion, 14 to 16 trillion dollars has been paid out in police department settlements. I might be wrong about that number, but I believe it's correct. So I'll say that just straight up. I believe it's very correct. Because you look at all the people that had things, and of course, settlement here, and $7 million, and $7 million, that's not stopped. This is going back 40 years, more than that. I'm just going to say it because that's when the economy, we never had a deficit before 40 years, 44 years ago, 45, whatever it was, give or take a couple of years. What's a couple of years if we're here now? Here's where we are. Tomorrow is always going to be. What's our future? This moment. And JB putting in $2 trillion for climate, not enough. Anyway, so protection we need to have. We need our Constitution to be updated to match the very beautiful, very prestigious Declaration of Independence. This is our heart. This is the Declaration of Independence. This is not the Constitution. This is the Declaration of Independence. This is the Declaration of Independence. In fact, for all of you, especially for those who have suicidal thoughts, you feel depressed, I want to hug you right now. And I might not be there, but I want you to use this thing. And I want you to feel me. And I want you to feel me because I'm going to be doing that. And I'm going to be feeling you. I want to hug everyone and the flag. I care. I care. Please don't do it. I wrote this in the book. We're having more suicides, 22 suicides a day in the armed forces. Senior citizens now, 16-year-olds, cab drivers. We have record suicides and record profit corporation highs. Where is the balance? We need laws to stop a president from lying, to guide us. You want to really see a good debate? Let's have people talk about intelligence and give us numbers and stats and figures. And let's see where we can go from there. I want that opportunity. because I'm not going to say it beforehand, because then that people are going to be using it. They already started to take some of my stuff already. So this is what I feel. Mail must be protected. Our voting must be protected. It must be considered an act of war when any other country messes with our voting. You want to go to war? Then mess with our voting, because we're coming after you. That to me is messing with these ladies. The freedom of what we formed as America, our land, our flags. Do we not protect this and pretend this guy does nothing about it? I don't understand. If you're the president, how come you're not protecting while you're making money? This way it's a unilateral thing, and we go from one and then we go to the other. So we take it and we schwooze money into protection, protection relative to money, keeping America number one. The one thing that I will vow to do is I will not let America be anything less than number one. It has to be number one how I see it. It needs to be. We are number one. We've always been in many different things. Look at our armed forces. No one can even compete with that. Maybe they don't care. Are we paranoid as a country? 2.5 times the armed forces as all the world, anyone combined? My God, please be with us. Hey man, I might not be perfect, but my heart, my mind is where it needs to be. And I think you need to fix the things that are broken really seriously first before you worry about cosmetic things and how people could probably say things. And if you say things, it only means you have so much money that you're comfortable. You're not seeing record homeless. Someone had said to me there's about 30.5 million homeless American people in America. And we see 3.5% before this pandemic, which by the way, I would have done in 90 to 120 days. When I got the people to stop insulin, I understand epigenetics. If the commander in chief is overseeing the science and overseeing what it is, like any boss or administrator does, the whip gets cracked. Call it a day. Anyway, so mail must be protected, voting protection. We must remove voter suppression at 27 states. That is one thing I promised to do. Constitution has to be rewritten. National makeover. By open design. By open design. Extremely important. So the way the debates are held need to have some fundamental rules. They need to be more standardized to not be a drama show. I don't like hearing them. It's a turnoff. It's disgusting. It means that we're ridiculous as people. We take that. Do you know every one of you count? Every one of you make the system. And you deny that, then this is what happens. Call up your congressman right now. Every time I see something relative, I call the congressmen, and we communicate to them, although none of them call me back and none of them pick up the phone. But there are ways that you can contact them online, and I have. So, however it is, I believe the way to do this is not just one person and one person, which has to be done. But I would want to make it where we attract back those who are turned off. I'm one of those people. I want to feel savory. I want to feel enticed to be part of my government. And now I'm one of the people that when I see so many things wrong, it's churned me as a professional technician, repair, fix person, business and science together, and no one else is. I said, you know what? We need someone who's going to do some money the best way it's never been done before, make new jobs in such a way with so many different things right now. Please put me on national television. And we need regulations for voting. We need regulations to the way that people debate, and we need digital protection. Those are the topics we spoke of today. And I hope you enjoyed this. So please, let's make this happen. It's up to you. We need to be more intelligent, which is why you're seeing this and that device. By the way, there's construction now. I don't know if they're looking to take that down, but I want to say I was the first person to mention this. I'm the first person to show this. And if you don't know what church it is, I'm not going to tell you right now. It's not about names. The point is, these things are real. I want to be facts checked so we can make America schmooze ahead. Let's take it and boom, 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 and then we can feel we're being raised up the right way. The last thing I want to end with, our debts should be protected. Like the Declaration of Independence says, and after this, I will digress at this point until we see each other again. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. I'd like to repeat that. And for the support of this declaration, and I swear and do everything, and I'm right now, I'm swearing and attesting to everything I can to the people, to do everything I can to make this happen by what you say. If you bow out, then you're not supporting someone to support you. Then if these fall apart, it's your fault. You don't want it to be your fault? Wake up. Heart awake. Some people really don't want to hear that. I'm so politically offensive today. Stop that. Defensive, rather. Stop that. We need to join. We need to become more respectful to the people we are. We need to care about what we're doing. What do I do? Tell you, don't listen to me. Don't have the changes made the right way. Don't call your politicians. Don't pay attention that the Constitution has been changed on the night of Christmas and Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Are we suckers? Let's do this openly. Open design. Let's create some intelligence. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. What's divine providence? It's when our soul escalates. The declaration mentioned this. We're not doing the right things for senior citizens. We're going electronics. That's why I put a phone number so they can be included. How much stuff is escalating where Moore's law has moved it past the senior citizens? What about when you become a senior citizen? You want to be watched out for? Guess what? Charles Richard Zarelli for president. I love us, man. We are beautiful. And for the support of the declaration, and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, I mutually pledge each other my life, my fortunes, and my sacred honor to the best of my ability. I don't think anyone has ever said this to us, for us. It makes me feel like I should have had my plant here. Go watch the 8-minute and 27-second video. You'll see me eat dirt. I love us. And for all the people who commit suicide, please, please don't. Please, please, please. This is going to turn around. Like they always say, sometimes things have to go really fast, boom, 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 until they burn out. Boop, and it starts over again. I'm one of the people in the forefront starting it over. There's so many people who are going across the globe right now with protests and activism and proactive. You need to be too. Not for any violence, no violence. But I believe it is relative to let a government know you're doing the wrong thing. When a declaration says, quote, but when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably, let me start over. But when a long train of abuse and usurpation pursuing invariably the same object, eventually designed to reduce them unto absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such governments and provide new gods for their future security. That's all of you. Unless you care what I just said, you're not acting American. You think you are, but no one's ever guided us in the right way. No one's ever explained the declaration. We celebrate 4th of July for what? For the day off? No. To celebrate just a flag, it's a flag only? What does it represent? It represents the Declaration of Independence. And that is why Charles Richard Zarelli for president, the Declaration of Independence Party, joining all parties, not giving him any excuse. Because there's so many problems. It's time for us to merge, become strong, and see America for what she was meant to be by our original frames, not the Constitution. Yes, I love the Constitution, but I don't like it. You can love something and not like it. It's appropriate to say that, by the way. When you understand love, it's important to love. And I love every one of us. I love our animals. Believe it or not, I love everything in the woods, our insects. You know, certain things, just very couple of things. I don't, I can't help it. If they become too many, you have to knock them out. You can't help it. It is what it is. It depends upon where you're at. But anyway, my name is Charles Richard Zarelli, the Declaration of Independence Party, looking to join all parties, not giving him any reason or excuses of why they're going to try to get away with being so political. And meanwhile, the Declaration says, stop that. Time to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another and to assume the powers of our earth. And the one thing we don't need is gasoline any longer. How is that going to be done? I believe unless someone's a technician and unless someone sees how articulateness and cracking a whip across the board for every aspect and having several different teams and having think tanks now to be diversified, unless those things are happening, we will never make the change. But we can't go in a wrong direction because we wouldn't want to hurt America either. Our national security is extremely important. So there's a fine balance, and we have to appreciate some of the things beyond what I said right now. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. At your service, Declaration of Independence Party. Be strong, be positive, and be confident. And see it done already, because I do. And we're going to fix this place. Thank you very much. Please tune into time to join.us. Check out the first video. It's 8 minutes and 27 seconds long. There's another one on design. And this is all about design, by the way. We don't see any design. And basically by open design. That's why I wrote this, by open design. Because I do design. And I also have other things relative to sociology of the people that we are. But I'm going to leave it like that because I can go on to other things right now. Thank you very much for listening. I look forward to seeing you again. We do Zooms 4 times a month. And people are a distance from me right now, so I don't have to have a mask on. And you can't see this. This is my Black Lives Matter mask, and it's green. This is why it blends into the background. Black Lives Matter. You can't see it, like I said, because it's green. You can't help it. It is a back part. But I don't know if the words could be seen. Black Lives Matter. Everyone is a human being, part of the Declaration of Independence. People who have taken anguish and arms against it. You're just angry, man. What happened? How can we make you feel not angry at the rest of the people? I think it's important to understand this. I love us all. Please, some of you, think about what you're doing before you do anything, especially when you act in any color. It's not a color that's representative. There's a whole story to that. I'm not going to go into it now. Every Bible is outdated by 460,000-year-old document that every Bible has in common what this document said. It's 500,000 stone tablets. I wrote this in my book. Please, when you listen to the right historians, we've not followed our history correctly. It's been not delivered truly. So how do we have the right intake to make the right output? Charles Richard Zarelli. I want to lead us in the right way. Thank you. I care for us all. I love our country. I refuse to have my niece not have a safe tomorrow. Please, gang, I need your help. Please call me. Any volunteers, anyone come in, donations, whatever you want to do. You can work from home. There's a lot of different positions available all across our country. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli, the Declaration of Independence Party, joining all parties. Be strong, be positive, be confident, and see it done already. At your service. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. Thank you.